ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, February 12th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up on the program, we're going to speak with John Mercer, head coach of the Marshall tennis team. His squad getting set for action this week against Virginia Tech. And some good news from his program today. Sophia Hurrion, second straight Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week. So we're going to talk to John in just a few minutes. But that leaves plenty of time for you the rest of the way. And again, our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got basketball coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Marshall at South Alabama. That's going to be a 7 o'clock airtime right here and on 93.7 The Dog. Must-win situation. We're at that point now. I know they're Herd right now in that battle for second place, hopefully looking to get the top spot or at least secure one of those buys. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are probably going to be the best situations for the Thundering Herd. You get 1 and 2, you've got 2 games to the NCAA tournament. If you get 3 or 4, you got 3 games, and then the NCAA tournament. I'm good with either scenario. I'd like to have the 2 games and then you're in situation for the Thundering Herd. I'm looking forward to this tournament. I think we've highlighted that enough. Let the games begin. Go all the way. Start off a week from the championship and just go all the way if you can. I'm excited to see if any team can pull that off, or if it's going to play in the favor of some of those teams starting earlier than the teams that are hanging around waiting for the opportunity to play later. I'm curious what this is going to look like, but every team gets in, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just seeding which really matters, and I think that does put more of an emphasis on these games now, like this one coming up with South Alabama. And again, I think the Herd can win this one. I'm a little bit more confident of where Marshall's at than maybe the start of the conference season. So I feel good about this. I don't mind. I'll put my name to it. I think Marshall wins this one tomorrow. Whatever happens, we're going to find out. It'll begin 7 o'clock right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got one cancellation tonight on the high school basketball side. And, of course, if you've got cancellations, let us know. Ashland was set to host Johnson Central tonight, 7:30, and that game has now been, at least at this time, canceled. So no Ashland basketball tonight. We do have basketball tomorrow on the high school side of things on our Kindred Digital High School broadcast. It'll be Cabell Midland versus St. Albans. That'll be available on our Facebook page and website. So if you're looking where to start, just go WRVC.com. And, of course, as we are getting set for the big one, this is qualifying day for Daytona 500 coming up this Sunday over on our sister station, Big Buck Country 101.5. The duels at Daytona, and that's going to be tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So there's a lot going on. We're going to be keeping our ear to the ground on everything. Of course, our primary focus will be Marshall at South Alabama. Winnable game, I think it is. Absolutely think it's going to be a winnable game. And we've got a lot of crossovers happening. I mentioned tennis just a few minutes ago. John Mercer is going to join us here in a few minutes. We've got softball getting set for a 3-game set against the College of Charleston. That's coming up on Friday. 3-game set. And then you've got action with softball between the 14th and 16th. So I'm hoping that this is sort of teams getting warmed up, went up against some really good competition, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the situation where the Herd starts to get some wins. Right now, 1-4, a pair of defeats to number 17 Virginia Tech is where College of Charleston is. Marshall, 1-4, lost to some really good competition. I'm hoping that That was an experience. The NFCA Leadoff Classic, very prestigious. And the Herd did get a win, but lost to some strong competition. Play them. I like it. I'm absolutely excited for the softball team now that it's got a taste of what it's trying to get to. So we got a lot to get into with you. So we'll do that with John Mercer in just a few minutes. We'll talk to him about his squad. Of course, the tennis team undefeated right now. And we also will hear from you as we get set for the show. Again, our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the number to be a part of today's show. John Mercer, he joins us on the other side of the break when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, John Garden, 304-525-1116. And in Barbersville, Marcia Slater, 304-736-6100.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Let's welcome to the program now the head coach of the Marshall tennis team, the Thundering Herd, undefeated this season. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it. John Mercer joins us now. And, Coach, I don't want to be the one to jinx it, okay? So it's not my fault if you lose. It's not my fault.
Yeah, I don't think you're hitting any balls, so I think we'll be okay.
All right, good. Fair enough. Thank you for absolving me here. Hey, you're off to a really good start. You're 7-0 now after wins against Indiana and Miami of Ohio. I know it's still early in the season, but can you put it in perspective, how good this team has been so far and what kind of opponents have you seen? Maybe put it in perspective how important these wins have been.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been an impressive start by the team. They had two really good wins, one at home. We played Wake Forest, who was ranked, I think, 29 at the time. Pulled out a 4-3 win, and then backed that up this past weekend, going on the road to Indiana and winning their 4-3 also. So 2 Power 4 wins, and then at the beginning, some good wins against Youngstown State and Cleveland State on the road, and then Bellarmine and EKU at home. And then Miami, was a tough one for about 2 hours. Then we kind of got to the point where we created some separation, and then was able to finish strong. So we've got some good Power 4 wins. We've got some quality Group of 5 wins, and now getting ready to roll into Virginia Tech. So back on the road. So it'll be a tough one.
It's fair to say Virginia Tech's going to be your toughest opponent to date.
Probably Wake Forest is a little bit better on paper. They beat them last year. But, we had Wake Forest at home, and that's a great advantage, that's an important advantage, just like any sport. So Virginia Tech's a tough place to play, and we beat them last year at home. And, with our start, we definitely won't be sneaking up on them, let's say that. So we're a good quality win for them now, too. So hopefully it's a good match. I'm sure it will be.
We've discussed this in the past, John. Marshall doesn't sneak up on anyone in tennis because that's the reason why you're on so many good team schedules, because there's value to a win and there's no really harm with a loss. So that's why I think you've got a tough situation year in and year out, because you've got that level of consistency, and it matters when you play teams. If you're playing teams that aren't that good year in and year out, it's really not advantageous, because we know how I don't want to say the algorithm, but we know how the rankings in the computer really matter sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. It's tricky. You're kind of trying to predict, what the future is, when you're doing scheduling. So that's not always accurate as much as you look into it. But we were fortunate, with the Wake Forest deal, that they were willing to come play us at home. And that's the other thing is, you got to try to find a balance. You're trying to get some of these teams to commit to you and play at home at some point. And, that's the tricky part, trying to get some home and home series against some Power 4 teams, and even against a good quality Group of 5 teams, trying to get them to play home and home. Fortunately, the Sun Belt Conference is pretty strong this year. It's really, really strong. It's probably 7-8 teams that are top 100 teams. It's great that you get to play some of those at home. And, of course, when you go play them on the road, that'll be tough.
John Mercer's with us, head coach of the Marshall tennis team. His squad is undefeated, getting set for a road trip against Virginia Tech. And you take the reigning and defending Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week. Second straight nod for Sophia Hurrion, and I hope I'm saying that right, John, because again, you have some of the trickiest. Good. You had some of the trickiest names ever when it comes to recruiting. You don't even say them out loud that much, to be fair.
That's true. You made me say them out loud last time, and I think I don't know. I think I was close. So they're all playing some great tennis, though. So that's a good thing. So, and all fantastic young ladies that work really hard. So they've been working really hard. Had great attitudes this year and have competed in the clutch. Unbelievable. that's brought them some reward so far. So all good.
So let's talk about Sophia. And again, it's with the F sound, Sophia, not Sophia. I'm
Right.
sure she gets
Correct.
she gets a lot of grief over that. I'm sure by those who don't know.
Well, from England, that's her deal. So it's kind of interesting because now our manager's name is Sophia. So now I've said Sophia so many times it sounds kind of weird to say Sophia. So, but and she's been playing awesome. I mean, 4-0 again this past week. Has dealt with a wrist injury on her non-dominant hand, so she had to make some adjustments in her game and has really approached it with a positive attitude and has worked really hard to get better. And she is being a senior, getting it done, figuring out how to get it done. She's been around the block now and seen how it all works. Of course, her brother played at UK back when my son was playing there, so a little tie-in there. But the family understands what it takes to play high-level tennis, and she's really bringing it her senior year and taking full advantage of it.
And she's also stayed with you long term as well, which is quite refreshing in this day and age where players can just get up and leave. I don't know how much it's going to impact you in the future compared to, say, football and basketball, but she stayed the long term with the Thundering Herd, and she's starting to reap the reward.
Yeah, I mean, you can't replace experience, and that's right now we have 3 seniors in the lineup that have all been winning, and it's making a huge difference. It comes down to crunch time. You're dealing with deuce points at 6-5 in a set. Like Ash McGrain was doing this past week at Indiana. Came down to her match. It was 3-all. She was down 5-4 in the second set. Played 2 deuce games in a row, won both those points. Played just solid, smart points, and that's what they're doing as seniors. I mean, they're using their heads. They're playing intelligent. They're not panicking in the tough situations, and they're really showing a mental toughness and fortitude that you need to win. And we usually could be 3-4 at this point, or 4-3. We've played some tough matches. Even against Miami, we were down 4 match points in the doubles to lose the doubles point. JoJo Strom, who's a junior, who plays 1 for us, came through and played 4 awesome points. Really controlling the point and helping the freshman that she's playing with work through those times and bring confidence to her. So our experience is really paying off, and I give them credit though. They're a competitive bunch, and they want to be successful. They've been through the wars, and they want to be successful this year and go out with a bang.
What else is it about Sophia other than her experience? Where do you feel that she has maybe improved the most, or where she has gained ground to be at this point?
Mm-hmm. She's really worked on diversifying her game. She's added a slice backhand, keep the ball, really down in the court, and she just has a really good forehand. I mean, can place it around the court, get depth, get angle, really play offensive off of it at a high level, and she's really using that slice to set that up. And then, she's worked a lot on coming forward in the court, following up that forehand and finishing at the net, more points. And her double, she's gotten better at the net, just controlling. JJ's helped her a lot with that, controlling volleys and, really making good shot selection again, is what she's doing there. And her and Ash have been dynamite at second doubles. She's really improved in all aspects. Fitness-wise, has improved a ton. So I got to give Blake, our fitness guy, give them a lot of credit for that. And, maturity. There's a big difference between them being freshmen and being seniors. It's really amazing. So amazing to watch, fun to watch, and glad to be a part of it.
For those that maybe aren't that familiar with her just yet and haven't had a chance to come out and really see the team so far, is she a quiet leader? Is she a vocal leader? Is she out there cheering, yelling? Is she just going about her business, leading by example? How would you classify her?
She's got a lot more vocal on the court, as all of our seniors have. I mean, we really have, those 3 seniors, a junior, and then 2 freshmen that are in the lineup. And so, and the 2 freshmen just came in January. So this is, this is new to them. The third freshman's in the doubles lineup. I believe she was here in the fall. So, but the other two is new, and all three of those, including Sophia, she's been great. A lot of times she's playing close. Her court position is close to the freshman, and right beside one of them, and just a court away from another one. So she's very encouraging to her teammates. Very vocal. Trying to really pull them along. And, while in some aspects it's an individual game, it's very much a team sport, very team sport oriented. And if you have a team that's getting along and they're encouraging each other, you can really have great achievements. And so far we've been able to do that. They've been a great bunch.
John Mercer's with us, undefeated this season, also two-time Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week. Sophia Hurrion will take charge, I'm sure, on Saturday against Virginia Tech. Now, for those, again, and we talk about a lot of times that tennis is a very individual sport, but for those who maybe don't follow along the college level as much, how difficult is it to kind of prepare for an opponent? It's not like you can just pull up reams of film, can you? What's that process like for you? Just to try to get ready for the team, but realizing it's a group of individuals that you're hoping come together and get it done.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's just like any other sport, there's two trains of thought. Either you're going in and you're kind of adjusting your game to get into the other person's weaknesses, or or other team's weaknesses, whether it's a doubles match and you're dealing with a team, or a singles match and you're dealing with that, or you're just going out and playing your game and saying, hey, I'm giving you my A game, and we'll see how that goes, and go from there. So you keep notes, you keep catalogs on players from year to year. You kind of learn what teams certain players do, what they like, what they don't like, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. There's a lot of technical side to tennis, from your shots, your forehands, your backhands, your volleys, serves, overhead, so on. So you might say one side's a little stronger, one side's a little weaker, one side's a little more offensive, one side's a little more defensive. So you kind of keep some notes on all that stuff, and then then you got to decide. When you're coaching a match, you got to decide as the match goes along. Hey, is our A game? We're going to come out here and we're going to play our A game up and down the line. With our players, is that good enough to win today, or do we maybe need to adjust a little bit what we feel comfortable doing, do something that we don't feel comfortable doing, but that's going to maybe expose something that another player or team doesn't feel comfortable also. So you might be playing your B game and trying to get them to play their B game, which might work better than just kind of going head to head with them. So you got to make those decisions as the match goes along. If you're watching, and obviously if you're out there and your player's getting crushed, usually you're going to try something different. The match is pretty close. It might be just kind of making a couple little tiny adjustments, and adding a few more low balls and trying to create some higher forehands, or in Sophia's case, or serving, a little more out wide balls, or a little more body balls, and the body jamming and getting some short balls. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. There's a lot of decision making that goes on during the course of a match, conversation between the coaches and the players. And so, yeah, it can really be a chess game while you're out there. And, but you go in with a game plan, and, what you want to do, and, what you think the other teams might do, and just kind of let it roll from there.
John Mercer's with us, undefeated this season. Also his standout, Sophia Hurrion, second straight Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week award, getting sent for Virginia Tech. Let me correct myself. I inadvertently said Saturday. It's Friday. So, John, you have to show up on Friday, not Saturday. They're looking for you on Friday.
Right. Friday, 2 o'clock. We'll be there.
Friday, 2 o'clock. And this has been a fun series, a fun rivalry. Yeah, it's hard to imagine. Yeah, it's hard to imagine a rivalry like this in football or basketball, but in tennis, one of your probably biggest rivals would be non-conference, at least at this point, would be Virginia Tech, and probably Kentucky and other schools as well. Depending on the sport, everyone thinks of some of these regional schools, but for you, it's Virginia Tech.
Yeah. I mean, they've been a real battle. I mean, we've had some real tight ones and close ones and some 4-3s, and it's really gone back and forth. And I give them kudos and big thank you. They've been willing to play us home and away every year. So that's been great that they've given us those opportunities, being a Power Four, because we all know how that's harder and harder every year. But our program speaks for itself. I mean, like you were saying in the beginning, we can be a good win for a lot of Power Four teams. If they come in and play us on the road, or we go to their place, and so I think they look forward to that opportunity also. And geographically, it's just a natural rivalry. Not too far away. And, we're in the same region, and we've had our share of really good, talented players, and so have they. So I think it's something that we both makes us both better. So when you look at it that way, it's a good one to play every year.
After that, you'll be back at it on Sunday, facing off against VCU. I know you can't look too far ahead, but staying in Virginia for Virginia Tech and then VCU. Off the top of your head, what can you say about them? I know you're focusing more on Virginia Tech right now.
Right. Yeah. Again, another tough place to go play. They play in a bubble, 6-court bubble, which was one reason I scheduled Cleveland State earlier in the year, because they do the same thing. It's a little different playing in there. It's a little noisier and a little harder to hear the ball. And it's just a little different. So, anyways, we'll get there on Saturday, get a good couple hours of practice in, even after the Virginia Tech match. They have been tough for us. They've been a tough out. They're a perennial, or the Atlantic 10 conference champion. So they just dominated that league. And so, they've been a tough one for us over the years. And, we're looking forward, hopefully we can go in there and play well like we have been. And if we do that, we should be fine. But it's going to be a battle, because they're not going to want to lose to us. And again, like you said, we're not sneaking up on anybody. We're a good win right now. So hopefully we stay a good win.
John Mercer, my guest. Marshall Tennis undefeated, 2 matches this weekend. It'll be Virginia Tech Friday in Blacksburg, and then on Sunday in Richmond, VCU. And, of course, you've got the reigning, defending Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week in Sophia Hurrion. Can she do it for a third time? Are you already ribbing her, giving her the business? Maybe she has to do it again?
We haven't brought that up. We're just like, hey, just keep it up. So, you never know where those, you need those 4 wins. You need those 4 points, the doubles, and, you need 3 of those singles. And, it just, Ash could easily have won it this past week. She won all 4 of her matches also, so give her a lot of credit, because she's Sophia's partner, doubles partner, and she ended up winning the last match against Indiana. She was the last one on. And then, 1 week it was Alina was the last match on. We played a bunch of 4-3s. So, it seems like we've had different people step up. Emma, has been playing 2s, been playing outstanding tennis. Vander Hayden. They've all just, really been, like I said, super competitive. And, you just never know where those points are going to come from. And that's what makes a good team. I mean, if you can kind of, not just rely on 1 or 2 people, but, rely on the whole team, and then that makes it tough, because it kind of makes it tough for people to, get lineups to match up against you and so on, because you're winning in different spots. But Sophia's been, one of those that's been solid as a rock, and, she's been great.
I'm curious, before we let you go, does this mean that even though they're all happy for each other when individual awards come, is there sort of like, okay, I'm going to get that now? Is that fueling that a little bit? If not, are you fueling that a little bit? Like, hey, that could be you. You could be Sophia.
It's just you can't really predict it. It's more of a preaching of we need all 6 singles players to show up. Whatever 6 we put out there, we need you all to show up. Not rely on any one person. Sophia won, award this week. She won one the week before. But, it's more about you just taking care of your business. And if everybody takes care of their business, then, we'll be successful in the end, and the team will be successful, and the awards will come. So it's just let's keep taking. If you're winning, you're winning. Keep it going. Stay aggressive, stay in that mindset. Playing to win. Not getting defensive, not trying to defend what you've achieved. And if you're not winning, let's figure it out. Let's make some adjustments. Let's get going in a positive direction. And we've had players so far that have all bought into that. They're all willing to do it, and they're all playing hard for each other right now, which makes it a lot of fun.
John Mercer on the road this weekend. Virginia Tech Friday, VCU on Sunday. Good luck, John. We will talk to you soon. And let's look into a bubble. I'm interested now for a Marshall bubble.
Whatever it takes.
You think we could get one for you?
Whatever it takes. You never know.
Do you want to play in a bubble?
You never know what's coming up.
Okay.
You never know what's coming up. Yeah.
Man, let's do that. Let's put a bubble.
Yeah. We'll take whatever support we can get. How about that?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. We'll just keep trying to do our thing. So, but I appreciate all the support that they give us. So it's really great. So, thank you, Paul.
John, good talking to you as always.
Yep. Go Herd.
John Mercer, everyone, head coach of the Marshall tennis team. His standout, Sophia Hurrion, second straight Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week, heard on Friday and Sunday, facing off against Virginia Tech and VCU. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More on this edition of The Drive coming up, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Looking for the perfect Valentine's Day gift? Show your love this Valentine's Day with 50% off all gift cards at Thoroughbred Express. Perfect for your car-loving friends, family, or even yourself. Or unlimited membership means you can keep your ride sparkling all year long. No matter what winter throws your way, enjoy premium amenities, top-notch service, and the clean car you deserve. Join the winner's circle with Thoroughbred Express.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the Tri-State. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for everyone who downloads the show. If you can't listen to it live, you can get it always on demand. You can start at WRVC.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in to today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Something happening today that I'm still doing a little research on, and it's not political from my point of view. I'm not trying to present it as political, but it does involve politics. The U.S. Department of Education has rescinded a policy from the Biden administration that required colleges to distribute payments to athletes for their name, image, and likeness equally between male and female athletes. Now, the rescinded guidance mandated that NIL payments be treated similarly to athletic financial aid, such as scholarships, which means they had to be distributed proportionally between genders. The Department of Education has argued that this directive lacked legal basis under Title IX, stating that the law does not address how revenue from athletics should be allocated among student athletes. Now, what's the concern here? Well, the policy change has raised some issue among some advocates for women's sports, a fear that it may undermine progress toward gender equality in college athletics. And there's a worry that without such directives, colleges might prioritize payments to male athletes, especially in revenue-generating sports like football, men's basketball, and this could sideline more of the female sports when it comes to the NIL. Now, of course, this doesn't really impact Title IX, despite this guidance that's been rescinded. Title IX legally mandates equal treatment of male and female athletes in schools receiving federal funds. So I'm curious to see. I've been learning a little bit more about this, and when I saw it come across earlier today, I was curious how this might play out because, one, it's part of a broader rescinding of policies with the current administration rescinding policies from the previous administration. But how will this impact how colleges manage NIL payments? Will it be a situation where NIL payments are going to be focused more so on the revenue-generating sports, football, men's basketball? Will there be some disparities now between men and women, male and female athletes? And there might be some restructuring of payments as well. How do you ensure compliance with Title IX requirements? So here's the debate right now. Do you think that NIL funding should be equally distributed between, well, let's be honest, should male and female athletes get equal distribution? If football's getting this, should the other sports, the non-revenue sports, the sports that are, or say women's tennis, softball, should there be a closing of the gap? And there might be flip side of that here is there could be more opportunities for revenue generating sports. If the focus is going to be more on football and men's basketball, you could see some more opportunities here. But there's always a good and there's always a bad. The bad could be that there might not be as much NIL available for some of the other sports like tennis. John Mercer was with us just a few minutes ago. Softball, women's basketball. There could be, it's going to probably depend on administration in college athletics, school to school, athletic director to athletic director. But there could be, as a result of this, if there's going to be a little bit more focus, like, okay, we can focus more on the men's sports, the revenue-generating sports like football and men's basketball. We can put a little bit more towards there and not risk anything at least we would not be in violation. Now, there could be a situation where some of the other sports, the other student athletes kind of feel a little slighted, or there could be a situation where, that could maybe harm your prospects with some of the higher level student athletes. But at a university like Marshall, I'm not saying Marshall gets the worst. It doesn't necessarily get the 5-star now and then. How does this help? Of course, we've seen the university tout in the past that, look, if you're looking purely for financial gain, Marshall's not necessarily for you. If you're looking for an amazing experience, opportunities, Marshall is definitely going to be the place for you. That's sort of how I read the branding on this. But this eventually has to come to a head, because you're going to have to figure out how to interpret Title IX. How do you respond to this? How do you figure out Title IX? And will this be challenged? And that's going to be the big question. Will this be challenged? And will any challenges hold up? We've seen the legal boundaries be pushed here over the last several weeks. And will the courts have a way to enforce any judgment? That's going to be a big question as well, as we see more and more NIL being part of the fabric of college athletics. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And be honest with me. I'm going to leave it completely anonymous, as I always do. So that gives you a little bit more freedom to say what you will. Do you think that NIL should focus more on the revenue-generating sports? Marshall, with its limited NIL, should that focus more on football, men's basketball, or should there be some balance between the revenue-generating sports and the non-revenue-generating sports? I don't want to call them Olympic sports, but the sports like softball, the sports like tennis, the softball team, every sport that isn't football or men's basketball, should there be more of a balance with NIL? Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Race to savings at Menards and start updating your home today. We offer the largest in-stock selection of home appliances that are ready to take home today, including Criterion refrigerators, freezers, dishwashers, and laundry appliances. They're built to make your life simple, no matter how busy life gets. Criterion appliances are ready when you are. Plus, view our weekly flyer on Menards.com and race to savings on all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Time to get to some of your texts. We were talking a little bit earlier about the direction being rescinded, about NIL, Title IX. This is going to be an ongoing topic, I'm sure. Let's get to some of your reaction. Texter says, Paul, the only thing I care about at Marshall is football and men's basketball. That's where the focus should be. Also from the text line, 304-396-TALK, texter says that NIL has ruined college athletics, but this is going to make it even worse as it starts to create more of a separation between men and women. We'll get your views on that at our text line, 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. I mean, some interesting takes there, just a couple of takes, getting the temperature of where you're at on NIL right now. I mean, for me, originally, NIL, in my head, was just meant to be, look, if I'm successful and I can make a name for myself, and then I can maybe turn that and translate that into some financial gain, then I was all for that. You know, I could go out there, I can get a job, you know, maybe I could be a spokesperson for, you know, a car dealership, you know, maybe I can get my own deal, not an arms race between schools to actually funnel NIL to student athletes, because now more than ever in the recruiting pitch, here's our NIL opportunities, or coach, what kind of NIL opportunities can I receive, or how much? It's almost getting to the point maybe at some schools that, okay, here's my asking price if you want me to come. And that's completely against what I hoped this would have done for student athletes. Like, for example, you're getting a piece of the money. Not much, but you're getting a piece of the NCAA roster on the video game. That was something that, sure, if you're going to use the statistics, the numbers, you're going to basically use the roster, and those kids should get some compensation for that. And, of course, if you've got some higher-level student athletes that are nationally known and can maybe work out a deal, be the cover athlete or a featured student athlete, by all means, they should have that opportunity. But instead, this has become more of a, let's hand you some cash, you come play for us. And I think there's got to be a happy medium there. Like, here's a check. If that's the case, just make the student athletes employees. Make the student athletes employees. If you're going to have the institution start being, responsible for these NIL deals, or you're going to try to wrangle this in a little bit, and you're going to have the student athletes earning money from these NIL opportunities, I think you make them state employees. I'm sure that comes with its own set of headaches, and I'm sure there will be a lot that maybe disagree with that. But if you're going to pay, you should make them student workers. I mean, I was a student worker at Marshall University. My NIL deal wasn't as big. I'm going to tell you that right now. My NIL deal was not as big. They called it work study. And it was great. Get an opportunity to work at the university at the same time. I could attend classes. My schedule worked around that. It was a great opportunity for me and probably for a lot of people. But that's a little different here. It's a little different being the star quarterback of the football team or the leading scorer of the basketball team in a given year. And there are going to be greater opportunities because there are going to be people that want to make sure that Marshall University has NIL money to bring the best players possible to the Thundering Herd. Same thing with basketball. But when you start looking at the list, okay, football's got to be up there, basketball's got to be up there, and then what's that going to leave for, say softball, tennis, volleyball? What's that opportunity going to look like for some of those sports, which are not necessarily going to generate revenue? Now, at the same time, we've seen an explosion in women's sports, not only because of Caitlin Clark, but because as a whole, women's sports have elevated. We see now more and we appreciate more, what those sports and what those student athletes and now what those professional athletes bring. We've got WNBA. We have, of course, other sports. We've got professional hockey for the women. So there's a lot on the table there. There's money to be made. And women's athletics, of course, the NCAA, the television package for the women's tournament, that's gotten a lot more. And now those women are being treated better and equal to the men at the NCAA tournament level. Hopefully that will continue. And part of that's going to be Title IX, obviously, what the interpretation is going to be. This is an interesting topic. And as we learn more, we can have more of a really good conversation about what this all means for the student athlete. But I welcome your comments. Find me on social media at X, that's formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. And while you're there, I've got a link on my profile. It'll take you to some of the other networks I'm on as well. So if you're not necessarily a big fan of X, you can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on Threads. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank my guest, John Mercer, his team Undefeated, on the road Friday to take on Virginia Tech. We appreciate John coming on the program with us today. Again, if you missed the show anytime, you want to go back, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just wherever you get your podcasts. That's where we are going to be. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading the show. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We got Marshall basketball, the Herd, getting set to take on, I think, a real tough opponent. This is going to be a fun one tomorrow. The Herd in South Alabama. This should be a close one. Hopefully the Herd can get the win. We'll find out tomorrow with our coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. I'll be back with you tomorrow, 5:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.